I'm a fat pig.
What did you just call me?
I'm starving.
I am so full.
I'm gonna vomit.
I can't fit.
I'm nauseous.
What are you going to order?
Can I get a side of mayo?
I'm sweating.
Do you hear my breathing?
I cannot stop eating chips.
This is not an extra large.
Do I look fat?
Welcome to Fat Pig. I'm Frank Liotti.
And I'm
Yeah,
Jessica Curson.
I get it. I'm so sick of my name. When I said it, I just wish I had a different name, like Elephant. I just wish I had a different name.
Elephant? No.
Can you
but
imagine?
really, if you could choose a first name, what would it be? I never asked you that.
I was gonna say Joyce as a joke, but but I don't know. Like everyone now has names like Denim,
Yeah.
Panel,
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn,
My name is
Fountain,
Bronx.
Bronx. My name's Z Train. Oh, actually, that sounds like a name.
My first name is Ha, and my middle name is Lamb. Harlem.
Wait a minute. We have to tell the listeners that Jessica's calling in because it's a friggin' nor'easter outside.
Can you imagine? I've been put into a mental institution.
And
so
Alex, she's in Pilgrim State Psychiatric, and Alex has been incarcerated. Alex is in prison. He's tiny. What is he going to do in prison to protect himself?
Oh, he handsy.
He what? He'd be the belle of the ball. Would you?
Oh,
say?
that's hilarious.
So this is Fat Pig. Is it 50, Alex? 50. It's Fat Pig 50.
Oh my God, that's so exciting! If I could only lose the last 50. Yeah, I'm actually I'm in Long Island I'm on Long Island in my house. Yeah.
Can you imagine we lost 1 pound for every podcast episode? We'd be 50 pounds down.
Oh my God, Frank! Why did you know what? That's a brilliant idea.
A pound a week?
Yeah.
Even if you have to cut it off?
Well, even if you gain it, just a pound a week.
What does that even mean? Even if
I
you
don't
gain
know.
it?
Well, we could lose it or gain it.
Even if you gain it, you're still doing something. If you gain it, it's a pound a week.
Pound it up, you'll have to lose the half by Wednesday.
The wedding is tomorrow. What are you going to do?
You sound Asian, Down syndrome, retarded, and fat.
I am. I'm all of those things.
No, you're not.
I want to
You're
be,
not Asian.
I am too. You should see the way I pull into a parking space. Can I tell you something? That wasn't even funny.
That was funny. That was a rich. You're going to say you should see how I can steam a shirt.
See, that's better. That's not as,
No, that's hackier than pull into a parking spot.
You should see how I steam a shirt. You get on, stay smooth all day.
If you marry me, you'll get free pedicure every week.
I make you practice the piano 16 hours a day.
I don't want to learn no piano. I want to learn percussion.
You're coming in and out. Alex, is she coming in clearly? Alex said, are you connected to Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi?
I am connected to Wi-Fi, yes.
You're coming in clearly now.
Yeah, I don't even know
I don't know what that
Wi-Fi
means.
is.
Isn't it Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi good. Listen to me. Can I tell you something? Wi-Fi. The new Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi window cleaner. Are you connected to Wi-Fi? What's your Wi-Fi password?
Do you sometimes feel like your windows are foggy and what? Use Wi-Fi.
Can I tell you something? I hate you for not being here. I need a dose of you like medication. You're like so funny. You're so funny. You're like so funny. Happy Gay Pride, Jessica. Do you want a bump?
Oh my God, like seriously, I'm so into gay pride. Like I'm not gay, I'm straight, but like all my friends are gay guys and I'm like really supportive.
I love the short circuit.
Yeah. I'm a fag hag.
You're supposed to say fruit fly. It's 2009. What fucking year is it?
Wait, what? A fruit size?
Fruit fly. You're not supposed to say fag hag anymore. It's fruit fly.
I never heard fruit fly. That's funny.
Fruit fly. Listen, I want to talk a little bit about. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, if I find the other day, I found a fruit fly on my mango, and I was like, more food. So I ate it, and now I feel like it's swimming around in my body, and I gotta that.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. While we're being silly before we get into the other shit, one of our fans. Wait, I have to find this before I forget because he's so sweet.
Who is it?
Sean Ellis. He just said,
he's a doll.
Where is it? Next Thursday, March 8th, that's tomorrow, is my birthday. It's the big 3-9 for me for the 11th time. Call me Cleopatra. So I was wondering if you all could sing happy birthday to me in character. Frank as the Broadway queen and Jessica as the macho lesbian.
That's hysterical.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday to you.
You.
That was rough. Happy birthday,
Yeah, that
Sean.
was. I literally, I have hives right now.
And a wire came disconnected. It's going to be a good year, though.
What wire?
The wire that's connecting us together.
Oh yeah. Well, whatever. At least we did it. And happy birthday,
Happy
Sean.
birthday! At least we did it. Now you're happy.
Yeah.
Can
You
you
happy
imagine
now?
the wire to my breathing machine? If I have to get a fucking CPAP machine, I'm going to kill myself. You know what I'm talking about? That's what fat men wear.
You mean they wear it out in public or they have it at home?
Can you imagine, like Vivienne Westwood or Prada did a fashion show of all CPAP machines coming down the runway?
It's all fat people walking down the runway.
That would be amazing. It's seriously a friend of mine.
Yeah.
A friend of mine got it. It looks like an elephant's trunk. It comes out, a tube points out of his nose. The other option was a tube on his forehead. It looks insane.
What?
Yeah, how did it work? There was like, it wraps around the head and the tube comes down from the forehead or something, and it's connected to a mask. The other one he had that was easier was like, imagine you have an oxygen mask on, but the tube comes pointing out of the nose. That's the other option. It looks insane. I'd rather suffocate.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Can you imagine sleeping?
Would you ever wear a dill forehead for?
A what? We're back. We had some technical difficulties.
Yes, we did, but now I'm on my landline.
She made it back to the land from It's a storm, and
I've had the same landline since 1942, and I can't believe it still works.
Excuse me, the number is Castle 14623. Castle 1. What's the exchange, miss? And I'll connect.
I told you my grandmother's phone number, the one that lived in the city, was LE5 1828.
O-E?
L-E. L as in lobotomy. E as in estrogen. 5.
E as in everyone's gone.
E as in everyone's dead.
Listen to me.
5.
Listen to me.
L as in, you're going to laugh. L as in liver and onions.
Lobotomy.
E as in entertainment.
Son of a bitch. Can we talk a second about this thing?
What?
You know, and I know so many people are going to relate to this. I want to, like, something happened to me in the supermarket yesterday. It's hard to even, like, admit this because I was alone and, ugh. Okay, the supermarket was relatively crowded because of the storm. And I'm wheeling my cart. There were boxes, and I'm wheeling my cart through this like little mini kind of pathway. And I'm about 70% through when a woman comes from the other direction and starts going. And there was nowhere for me to go. I couldn't even move out of her way because she kept going.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, you're just going to keep going, huh? And she did.
Yep.
She almost like pushed me out of the thing. And I said, now that is really what I call entitlement.
You said that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I go up to the register. She was like maybe 65. I'm waiting and I'm putting my stuff on the belt. And all of a sudden, this woman wheels up to me and she slams her cart into my cart.
Oh, boy.
And then she does it again. And she goes, I thought you were going to be a gentleman. I said, you didn't even give me a chance to move. You just kept going. And then she slammed her cart into mine again. I said, what do you want to have a fist fight with me? It was almost comical.
Oh, my God.
Because she was like hitting my cart. And she walked away, and I was so flabbergasted by the whole thing. I was like putting my stuff up, and I said out loud to the woman who was in front of me, like I involved a stranger because I was floundering. I was so upset. And I said, she ran her cart into me because I was embarrassed. And the woman next to me obviously said nothing. She didn't want to get involved. So I walked away. The woman was complaining to a manager at this point about something else. She was just an idiot.
Right.
And I walked over to her and I said, you should spend a day on the 10th floor at Sloan Kettering because you're with the way that you're acting.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. But here's what I want to talk about. And that's like, oh, what, like it's like, what am I going to do? Win a trophy for winning the fight and getting the last word? I want to talk about letting a complete stranger poison my spirit.
Yep.
And making the wrong choices in the moment. Like, and I'm not saying that would have been easy to make the right choice. I mean, it would have had to have been a perfect day in order for me to make the right choice. I would have had to have like booked a feature film, won the lottery, and have inherited a Mercedes Benz to be able to just like back up my shopping cart when this woman was slamming into me. I would have had to have had the perfect day to be able to laugh it off. But like, I'm not that evolved yet.
I know. It's very, very hard. I get it because I react very easily, and it depends what kind of mood, where I am, like how I'm feeling that day.
And
when
who you're with.
Does something to me. It's really hard to not. By the way, for people listening from all over the place, it's very hard in New York with
Absolutely.
that energy.
Yep.
Because it happens all the time. Like that doesn't happen in like Denver all the time.
Right.
It's very different.
It's amazing. Like people in other places let you cross the street. And in Brooklyn, they literally, I'll go to Whole Foods and they speed up.
Exactly. Well, that happens to me constantly.
Yeah.
I'll be in the car and someone will just try to cut me off.
Right.
Or not let me in or stop shorter. It's crazy.
And it's like that energy, even though like it's not in the back of my head that I'm going to go home and pig out, but I feel like amassing those energies, it's like putting coins into a piggy bank and saving them up, because like my spirit gets so poisoned, and then I'm with a half gallon of ice cream at 2:00 in the morning.
I know. I mean, do you feel bad that you reacted to her?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I do too. Like, I want to kill the person, but I also feel bad that I let myself get to that point.
She was really an asshole. Like this lady she had no vulnerability. She was an asshole. But it could have been so much easier. Even if I weren't being compassionate, it could have been so much easier if I had just like backed up and kind of like laughed it off. Like some people wouldn't even think about it. They just kind of like move out of the way and keep going. Oh, wow, this lady, she's in a rush. Like some people would just, and the thing is, it's like I swallowed poison.
I think a lot of people don't react the way we do.
They don't.
But yeah, it's, I mean, I think sometimes they get annoyed or whatever, but like we go to the next level. And I think a lot of it really is being in this environment, because I wouldn't react that way in other places.
Right.
Like when I travel.
Right. Maybe it's an ethnic thing. I was talking to Matteo about it, Matteo Lane, for those of you that know or don't know. And he was, like, Matteo and I always talk about having Italian aunts, our aunts and uncles and whatnot. And it's kind of like his Aunt Cindy felt like this woman was staring at her while she was online at like the bank. And she keeps looking over, and she felt like the woman keeps staring at her. So finally she put down her pocketbook, put down her groceries, put her hands on her hips, stamped her foot, and stared back at the woman like aggressively.
That's hilarious.
But it's like the one-upping. Like, what do you win? You don't win a blue ribbon. You don't win a prize. It's this weird kind of like having to be on top. You know what I mean? Having like I still couldn't let it go. Like I said, I walked over to her and I told her to spend a day on, like my sister was on the 10th floor at Sloan Kettering. And I always think of that 10th floor. And I just, I should have let it go. What is that AA
what
thing?
You were saying to her, sorry, but what you were saying to her, I want to explain to people because I know you so well, is that you're like, go spend some time there and see how bad life can really be.
That's my
what you're
point.
saying.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. That's my point. Mm-hmm. And she's running me down with her shopping cart. And then she walks up to me and she starts slamming it into me when I'm online.
Oh, I would freak out.
It was really, but it was so comical at that point because, I mean, I'm a big guy and she wasn't that old, but who knows? I don't know what her story is. She was definitely off. Like she was stupid. Something was wrong with her. It wasn't like she has a sick something at home. Like I know that it wasn't. She was off. She was just missing.
She was crazy.
She was crazy. She was missing something. What is that AA thing? Swallowing poison, resentment, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's not. It's really it's about resentment. Like resentment is taking poison, hoping the other person dies.
Right. Like I was hoping that she would get hit by a subway on the way home.
No, I totally understand, but she has her sharp shopping cart to protect her. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. A lot of times I don't react anymore, but there's times I do, and especially even on stage. Like we've talked about this a million times. It's like it's so hard not to react to people's negative energy or crazy energy. I think really it's about just taking a second and just trying to just step back for one, little chunk of time and just trying to take a deep breath and not react. But it's so hard when you're in it.
It's so hard when you're in it, but it feels so good when you can let stuff go and you know that you've made progress in life.
Yeah, because you can't reason with a crazy person.
No.
That's the problem.
I know. Like something happened on the subway 2 or 3 days ago. It was rush hour. And some guy was like, you stand too close to me. And the other guy was like, well, what am I supposed to do? Do you mind if I use this pole? Do you mind if I stand over here? Do you mind if I... And it was turning into a confrontation. And then it did.
Oh, my God.
And then it was bad. And it was like, it turned into a fight. And it was so stupid. It was over such a nothing thing. And it's like, I wish we could just look back and see what these people had gone through in this day or what their personal circumstances are or whatever, because it has nothing to do with this complete stranger.
No, it doesn't.
It's about
it has nothing to do with it.
For me, it's about being, I'm in show business. So for me, this woman with the shopping cart, when I'm 80% of the way through this path, for me, it's about being seen.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's as much, I think it's about show business, but for me, it's just feeling seen in general. I just don't feel like people hear me or see me sometimes,
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that growing up. I feel like I always have this picture of me, not that this happened, but I always feel like I was pulling on my parents' clothes, see me, hear me,
Yes.
I was annoying them.
Right. Well, that's, I say show business, but it's why we're in it.
Right.
In other words,
You're
if you
right.
rewind, my parents, both of them worked nights. I used to sit on the steps and look at the clock in the kitchen waiting for 8:45 because my mother would call home from work for a minute. So it's kind of course I'm in a profession now where I'm look at me, see me.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's really hard to not react to that.
I know.
It's really, really hard. I don't know. I'm trying. I know people who would never, ever, like my mother. My mother would be like, excuse me, is everything okay? But I don't, I know people who would never, ever react and just say, oh, they're just having a hard time or they're just nutty. And
I feel like most people would. No, I feel like our listeners are going to write in. Our listeners are going to write in though and be like, I would have wanted to annihilate it. You know, like our listeners get it.
Yeah, they get it because they're all like
insane.
Not all, but a lot of them are very sensitive and they understand. Right. And it's also when someone gets physical, that's when it's a whole nother story for me. Like if you're going to get physical and knock into me or get in my space, then it's going down.
Right. Totally.
You know, that's different than someone just saying something to you.
But it feels so good when I have those moments of letting it go, because then you really win. Then you have the upper hand. Like when you make the person look like an idiot and let it go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing with the Internet.
Right.
You know, I've told you, and I've said this
comments,
on the podcast that people have said to me. You've said it to me. You know, when you react or get angry or whatever and respond, it looks stupid. And you didn't say stupid, but it does. It's like it's better to just not react.
Giving up your power.
Do something funny.
It's giving up your power.
Right.
Yeah, the Internet is fucking scary. Like on one of the videos out there, it's like somebody wrote. It's so weird because it was from my childhood. Somebody wrote, like, I remember playing in his basement when we were whatever. They mentioned like my sister's name.
Wow.
I always knew he was a little faggot. It was like,
whoa.
Somebody actually went out of their way and found me on YouTube. It must have been like a gay joke, or like they knew that I was gay from the comedy, and said something like that, completely anonymously, of course, which is amazing. You know what I'm saying? From Long Island, it's a really, really scary place. It's a free for all. People people attacking each other, and it's nuts.
I know. What is going to happen? Like, I mean, it's just insane, and it's getting worse and worse and worse.
Sure.
I feel like and the problem is that we have to be on it because of what we do. I'm not kidding. I would not even be on it. I'm not even just saying that. I might be on Instagram because it's like pictures and videos and funny, but I wouldn't be on Facebook. I actually would not even be on it if I wasn't a comic.
Yeah, Facebook kind of lost its glow to me. I kind of have stopped using it for the most part, but Instagram is... it's still challenging to me. Instagram is getting to a point where, just because comedy is like morphing into a different kind of, how do I say this?
Yes, it is.
It's evolving into something that's just as cosmetic as the standard
it's more
genre.
About looks and stuff.
Now
and
it is.
Being funny.
It wasn't like that when I started 9 years ago, and it certainly wasn't like that when you started. Right.
It wasn't like that. In fact, it was the opposite of that. It was, I mean, I've said it's that quote, comedy isn't pretty. Like, it had nothing to do with looks. And I mean, a little bit if you're talking about like a sitcom or getting acting role, whatever.
Right.
But no, it was actually, it had nothing to do with that. It was about who was funny and who wasn't.
Right.
And now if you have amazing tits, you have 200,000 followers.
Right. Yep.
And then you have to go and deliver, and people go to see you do 45 minutes or an hour, and it's like, where's the comedy?
Right.
So interesting. And I'm not saying everyone's like that. There are people who are very attractive who are hysterical. But there are more people who are, showing their body and doing different things, and they're not funny.
Right. And there's a lot of stuff that's like, I've said this time and time again, there's a lot of stuff that has like no punchlines that's just socially kind of relevant, but it certainly isn't. It's socially relevant for where we are in 2018 to have these people be in the public eye. By these people, I mean these people who are being cast. But it's not comedy. It's weird. Like, they're doing comedy. It's advertised as comedy, but it's like what Sarah Silverman called learnmity. It's kind of just like a college lecture so much of the time, and I don't get that. If I want a college lecture, I'll go and see, Call Me by Your Name or whatever, and hear somebody talk for 3 hours.
Well, again, we've talked about this so many times. This is not a fact. This is my opinion, but there's two kinds of comics. There's givers and takers.
I love that.
And and the ones that you and I normally laugh at, obviously the most, are the givers, the ones that's not about ego. You know, they never walk off stage like, wow, that was great. I did great. You know, it's not a lecture. It's not a monologue. It's literally giving to people so that they laugh and feel better.
Right. If I don't know who somebody is when they walk off stage, like I have no interest if I don't see vulnerability or anger or even if it's joy, some kind of emotion as opposed to just resting like you're doing the audience a fucking favor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way.
What was I going to say to you? This is an interesting thing. I cannot tell our listeners more how much I love going to therapy. Not going to therapy, but I so believe in therapy as being so healing. And I know, right, and not everybody has the access to affordable therapy. Like in New York, you do. In New York, there are programs through NYU or NPAP, I believe it's called, where you can get an incredible sliding scale with people who are finishing up their PhDs or whatever it is. It's just, if you can do it, because so many of the letters that we get are from people who have such ups and downs and feel so broken and lost. If you can find a way to give that to yourself, it is so worth it.
It really is. But again, we've talked about it, and you need to find the right person. And sometimes a lot of people don't want to do this. Sometimes you have to go to 2 or 3 different people to find someone that works for you.
Yeah. I mean, I told you I'd walk into Valerie, my last therapist, I'd walk in and she was on speakerphone, acting all nonchalant. And on the speakerphone, I heard, your Chase account balance is $0 and zeros. She panicked. She had no degrees on the wall.
I think that's so funny.
She didn't have a diploma on the wall. She had a sketch of a hand. That was it. That was it.
Where'd she get her degree? DeVry?
The hand, motherfucker.
She ain't no therapist. She a line cook.
Why do you always say? You always say that she's a line cook.
She a line cook, and then she thought, you know what? I have people on the line. I should just get my own office and help them in the office, make them feel better. Mm-hmm. Tell me your problem.
You don't even have to eat that coleslaw and pickle. Hold on a minute. It's like the call-in is hard because you're not in front of me.
Well, it's kind of easy because I think we have a call-in in line too.
We do?
Yes. It's I couldn't understand her name.
Hold on one second. Welcome to Fat Pig. This is Frank.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I've called in many times and been ignored.
Hi, I'm sorry. This is Vivian. Am I right?
Yes, I have a question for line 2.
Oh, okay. Hi, Vivian. This is Frank. How you doing this week?
Hello, Frank. You know, I want to tell you something, Frank.
What's that?
You are incredibly talented.
Thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
You are. You're very handsome.
Thank you.
And you need to remember that you're loved by, every person in my development in Florida thinks you're wonderful. We all talk about you.
That's so sweet.
Could you hold on, please?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hold on, please. Maria, make sure you clean the bathroom 4 times because I'm paying you in cash this week. And do it fast. You work for me. Hello?
Vivian, does everybody love Jessica in the same way in your development?
No.
Oh.
Not at all. No, she's a horrible person. Okay, so
she's my
Frank, I'm so happy that you answered because Jessica's a whore. I've been trying not to eat oatmeal, but I don't know if it's hold on, please. Mm-hmm. Maria, could you turn down that Spanish music? It's disgusting.
Is Maria your daughter?
No, she's my slave.
Oh, I see.
So I wanted to ask you, Frank, if oatmeal is healthy or if you think I should have cottage cheese.
Well, I would say oatmeal because there are a lot of theories that dairy isn't good for you, and oatmeal, they say, actually helps your cholesterol lower. So I would say go for the oatmeal as long as you don't put much brown sugar or maple syrup, then you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you for that wonderful advice. And my next question is, I am dying.
Okay.
I'm riddled with cancer. So if you could come visit me, I should be around until May. They said May 4th is my last day.
Oh, okay.
So if you could come to, I live at 1 Gulfview Road in Timber Pines. Are you writing this down?
Yes, I'm writing this down. I'm so sorry to hear this.
It's all right. I'm so fed up with this country.
I understand.
Number 2, 4.
2, 4.
7.
7.
7.
7.
7. 7. 7. 11.
I have it. Okay, Vivian, thank you so much for calling.
All right, please bring macaroons.
Oh, I will.
Okay,
Take
goodbye.
care. Why didn't you
I don't
jump
know why
in?
She doesn't like me.
Why didn't you jump in? Why did you get so quiet?
Because I just feel like she just said she's about to pass. Like it's such a sensitive situation.
I know, but you have to just let people like that talk. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. Frank, everyone loves you.
Her mind's
really.
not in the right place.
Well, she said that, I think she's attracted to you. Maybe you could just give her last, romp before she goes.
Oh, boy. I don't know if I'm up to that.
Have you ever slept with a woman? Did
Yes.
I ask you that?
No, I'm a golden child. Is that what they
So
call
you
it?
haven't?
No. Is that what they
A
call
gold
it?
star.
A gold star. I'm a gold star.
Really?
Yeah.
But did you make out with? You had
Yes.
to have made out with a girl.
I have.
Yeah.
It was like kissing my arm.
It was like kissing my teddy bear.
It was like kissing my piggy bank. I felt like it was like ceramic, but like hot and like soft. That's the oil change is going to be 60, and the inspection is 62, and labor is 120. I had to take my car to the mechanic. I could have just bought a new fucking car. My mechanic's name is Junior.
Wait, well, how much did it cost?
$567. I brought it in for an inspection and an oil change.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Junior
That's
is his
crazy.
name. You need a tire and the belt and another tire, and it's not going to pass if you don't do the exhaust. And it's $15,463.12.
Oh my God!
Yeah, for a 2003 Toyota Camry.
That is, I can't even take it.
I could have just bought a new
2003?
car. You know the song on Good Times, keeping your head above water? It's like every time I try and dig myself out of a hole, like I got 3 tickets, Waze told me to make a left turn, and I got pulled over because there was no left turn. Another ticket, I got caught talking on a cell phone. And what was the other ticket for? Oh, come on.
The one when they thought that you were in,
Was Al-Qaeda.
you didn't have your seatbelt on.
Yeah, and the one with you? No, but that wasn't a moving violation. There were 3 in a row, and they were the first tickets I got in 10 years. But as I told you, being that I got 3 in a row, so that was $400. Now, there's something in New York State called a driver assessment fee. I want the listeners to know this, how disgusting it is. Being that I got 3 tickets in 18 months, I got charged an additional $400 for nothing. They called it a driver assessment fee. It's so disgusting.
I know.
to think like I have people who can help me in my life if ever, God forbid, I can't pay my rent or buy groceries. Like, I am so lucky. Like, I saw this man in the drugstore in CVS who looked completely annihilated. He was a homeless man. And it's funny, like, most homeless people now look like, what's that? Holy shit, we just heard thunder here that sounded like a missile landing.
Really?
Oh, my God.
I heard something, but I was like, is that me? Because I have a little bit of gas. I didn't know.
You are so quick. My friend Ellen used to always say that to me, but that's because she was on medicine for schizophrenia.
You are quick. Are you kidding me?
I used to be.
No, Frank, stop it. You're very quick.
The medication dulls it. I'm lucky in that in this lifetime, I have people who can get me out of a hole if I'm in trouble. And I saw this man in CVS, like most homeless people now in New York, look like they're addicts. You don't see as many homeless people as you used to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This was a homeless guy. This was a man who looked like he'd been chewed up by life and spit out. He was filthy and broke, and I could not get it out of my head. I still can't get it out of my head. I think, like, what happened to him? He had no angels in his life. He didn't have, for whatever reason, anybody that could give him a lift up, a leg up. And it's like a driver assessment fee, a $400 bill like that, on top of the rest of the shit, can completely annihilate some people. It's just really, the system is so fucked up. You know what I mean?
It really is.
I know.
It's so, I don't know how we're going to get out of this mess of everything that's going on.
I know.
But it'll take a little while. I don't know.
It's going to take a
while.
while.
And they're trying to cut programs for everyone. So I don't even know.
Shit.
Like, what is going to happen?
I don't know. It's a really scary time. There is absolute chaos in the White House.
I know.
The leader of the free world.
And we haven't talked about it a lot.
No.
I mean, we don't, because we just both get like, we'll want to die.
Right.
But it's insane every day. It's just, and I've stopped watching it because at this point, there's so much going on that I'm completely confused. I don't even know what's going on.
I don't know who quit. I don't know who quit.
Too.
I don't know.
I'm like, who's talking, who's not.
Is this the guy who quit?
Idea.
Did he quit yesterday, or is this another guy who's quitting today?
No, Gary Cohn. He quit yesterday.
But is he the same person that quit on Monday? Like, someone quit. Gary quit yesterday. Who? Yeah, but there was somebody between Hope and Gary, wasn't there?
No, there was someone who is speaking, who is being
There's the guy who's refusing his subpoena.
Right, but now he's saying he will. Like, first of all, you can't refuse that. What is going on? My mom is like, we were talking about it last night. It's so insane. It's not funny. It's horrible.
Well, because we have a leader who's akin to somebody like Kim Jong-un. It's like we have a lunatic, just like these other countries do. We have somebody who's so mentally unstable, who needs his ego stroked so... Like, he's going to go down in flames. He's going to take as many people with him, and I'm afraid it's going to be the country sometimes. There's no way this guy's going to leave easily. No way.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I said I've always said this, but I think that Trump, I don't think I know, he is mentally ill.
Yeah.
So I blame all of these people around him much more than I blame him. I mean, I know that sounds crazy because people hate him, but he's just not okay. There's something severely wrong with him, and all these other people know it, and they're still hanging around and supporting him.
Yeah, a lot of them
and it's horrible.
A lot of them that work right, those that seem to work within close proximity to him seem to be dropping like flies. But those who are getting something out of it, like the Paul Ryans of the world, the self-serving pigs, the thing is, it's so frightening to think $31 million from the NRA to Trump's campaign. It's so frightening to think that these people are actually putting themselves first before the country. These are the people who are supposed to be taking care of us. And
I know.
We have a mental patient in office now, and to think that they're not getting him out of here before something completely chaotic happens is a really frightening thought. Really, really scary.
And what do you think would be like even more chaotic? You mean like a war? Like
Yeah.
that's what I think.
I do.
I mean,
of
I don't want
course.
to put that out there, but I would not be shocked at all.
When was the last time we heard as much? I don't remember. I remember when Obama was in office at one point thinking, oh my God, remember in the 80s when they used to talk about arms and nukes?
Yeah.
I thought that was a thing of the past. And now we have Putin in the news last week saying he's got this. What is it?
Invisible,
the missile that you can't stop, and you have Kim Jong-un testing his missiles, and all of a sudden, and Trump saying, we'll use it if we have to. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, I think there's completely just some people who are holding him back from doing it. I think he probably wanted to do that months ago.
Yeah.
He loves, I mean, I'm not even saying it he loves chaos. Like, he is happy that this is all going on.
I know.
He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit.
I know.
Obviously, he keeps causing more. I mean, if things are going okay, he'll start tweeting something that causes major chaos.
Yeah.
He loves it.
How the fuck does he have time? How does he have time to attack Alex Baldwin, calling him Alex Baldwin?
I know.
How does he have time as the leader of the free world to know what's going on SNL on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, rather?
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, he's mentally ill. Like, we were just talking about it before, and I said, even if I've reacted to someone on YouTube, I've had the people closest to me say, you look like an idiot. So imagine how every performer and actor and comic and that's why people are like, why do people from Hollywood get so upset? Because we spend every day not doing that. It's so ridiculous to us that he is reacting to these people and retweeting random people from like Kentucky and like reacting to some stupid thing. Like, it's so beneath someone to do that.
Right.
And he's doing it. He does it every day.
Yep. It's nuts. And it scares me.
And his kids too. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
The son-in-law, it's just, there's so much corruption right now. I've never seen anything like it. I haven't. I've never seen anything. I don't think any of us have in this lifetime. I don't think, they say that he's done tenfold what Nixon did to get impeached. And he's still there
I know.
at this point. He's still there.
Yep.
I just, I don't know.
I know. It's really sad. And I'm so glad that we are talking about this now, because now I'm in a horrible mood and I haven't had lunch yet.
All right, let's change it. Let's change it.
Should we read an email?
Yes, wait.
I just said an email. Should we read an email?
I knew you were going to do that. Wait. There was something I want to talk about before we do. This is a therapy thing. Oh, God. This is almost like, I feel like this is such a dangerous thing because my sister, what I'm going to talk about, my oldest sister who passed away, she had this thing, and I have it too. It's almost like, with like not opening my bills, not opening I have I have shopping bags filled with mail and bills that I'm afraid to open, stuff like that. I realized it's almost like in my head, almost like Cinderella, where I expect that some miracle is going to come along and rescue me. Like I'm going to get the right agent one day, or I'm going to get a sitcom that makes me all this money one day. It's like living in a fairy tale instead of like opening an envelope and like dealing with reality. And my sister had it so badly. I always feel like if my sister had dealt with her life, whether it was paying bills, going to the doctor to get mammograms, looking into something to like make herself happy, taking a course in gardening or floral design, if my sister had just acted instead of sitting back and like dreaming,
yeah,
I feel like she could have saved her life. And I realize that I am so doing it lately. I am so doing that too. I mean, I'm taking a lot of action. Don't get me wrong. I'm really trying to get a good agent. And I'm trying to kind of not live in that false reality. But it's a dangerous
Right.
thing to think that something or somebody is going to come along and rescue us.
Yes, it is, and it doesn't happen really
No, it does
at all.
No, because then if that's the habit, then it'll never go away, regardless of what level we get to. Someone may come along once with one issue, but there's always going to be another issue behind it. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
Whether it's good, it's always. I think it always comes back to the same thing, and it's different person to person. It depends on what was missing in your childhood.
I always, that's where I always
Right.
go back to.
Right.
And I'm very clear about it just from doing so much therapy. I know, there's things that I try to fill or change because of what I didn't get and what I craved. And it's impossible to fill that hole. It's never enough.
Right. Like we were poor. So to me, it always feels like I'm not being taken care of. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
Always like never taken care of. And my sister lived in that. And I think it's just, I know it is. It's so important to develop an awareness of what your thing is.
Yes, you exactly. It's about awareness, and it's about, forgiving and then moving on and trying to, get that ourselves.
Healing.
Like me trying to fill that myself, not look for it with outside things.
Not like, not watch pornography or get involved in like theft, weapon.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I really like if I go gamble, like I just feel like that might fill it, or like fucking different people, or like eating a lot of ice cream. But that's not going to make me feel better. The thing that's going to really make me feel better is really when you're listening to God and the self-help books. Hello?
Fucking different people.
Yeah, like just fucking and 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 isn't that hot?
That sounds like
I feel like every straight guy listening to that is getting hard right now.
That's every girl I went to high school with on Long Island.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Frank, I can't believe you're doing comedy. You were always funny. Like, I'm so not shocked that you were doing comedy because you were always funny, like in class. You would always make me laugh and this is Davidson, I'm going to smile and give me some pencil.
Oh, God. All right, let's do a letter. Oh, God. I gotta find a letter. Wait a minute. Let me see. There's so many now. I guess
I have to go to a gospel church soon.
I thought you were gonna say you had to use the bathroom. Dude, okay, this is Fat Pig from Santa Cruz. Let me find the name. This is a pretty name. Adrielle. Adrielle, thank you so much for writing. I'm going to have to do a little bit of an abridgment because it's like a term paper, which is very sweet. Let me see. Dear Jessica and Frank, there's so much I want to say to you both. I don't know where to start. First, I would just like to agree that spaghetti squash will never be spaghetti and we're all lying to ourselves. I would like to recommend zucchini noodles as a decent alternative. You're right. I like them with marinara sauce to balance out the low carb. Right. She adds 2 cups of cheese to the bowl to ruin the possibility of it being too healthy, which I totally get. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a 22, almost 23-year-old female living in Santa Cruz, California, a recent graduate.
Aww.
Graduating and starting a full-time job has been a difficult transition. In college, I lost about 20 pounds, was actively restricting myself from food. I was the skinniest I've ever been, 120 pounds, totally miserable to be around. I was still obsessed with food, as I always have been, but it took on a different form. Now that I've graduated and have a job, restricting isn't really an option. I have to eat because I can't do my job well if I'm irritable, hangry, and in a starving body. I'm full of guilt. I'm full of guilt and shame for gaining this weight back. Oh. I feel like such a failure. I use food to comfort and soothe myself. Not sure if either of you or the other listeners identify with this, but for me, I always have to eat meals alone in my room while watching a show. Are you kidding? It's like this is like the biography. This is the back flap of my book. If my roommates are home or I'm eating with other people, it's almost not even worth it to me to eat. I'd rather wait until I am alone and can eat in peace without judgment or fear of it.
I totally understand
my
that.
God, I'm getting goosebumps. This is a ritual I've had for myself and have been engaging in since middle school. The act of eating while watching something, so I'm that much more disconnected from my food and my body. I don't know if I will ever be able to navigate food in a healthy way. It feels like there are only two extremes. I just want to eat like a normal person, for fuck's sake. This is such a good letter. I want to thank you both for this podcast, as it has simultaneously made me feel seen and heard and understood in ways I never thought possible.
How beautiful is that?
It's so articulate because of all the shame I feel around food in my body, while also forcing me to examine some of my deep-seated issues with food that have often been too uncomfortable to acknowledge for real. You two always keep it so real and make me laugh out loud to myself in my car when I'm driving and shoveling popcorn into my mouth. Sorry, don't be sorry. I will keep an eye out for shows in San Francisco because Santa Cruz does not have a big comedy scene. It's a pretty small town. Fat Pigs Unite. You guys should make shirts. Love, Abrielle. P.S. I always cackle when Frank reads off the contact list like, contact info like, hey, fat pig. Oh, first of all, Abrielle, this letter is going to, it touches, so many people are listening to this and saying, slapping their leg and saying, holy shit, me too. I eat alone. Of course.
Yeah.
While watching a show.
That's the thing. Yes.
It's like our version of heroin. Did I ever say that's what in OA? That's what her sponsor, my sister's sponsor, said that it's like heroin eating addiction. It's to numb. She said it was the same thing. My sister's sponsor in OA, and that struck a chord with me. It's numbing.
Yep, exactly. I mean, the hardest thing is that, and this sounds so simple, but I was amazing when I heard this for the first time. But it is the hardest addiction, in my opinion, because you have to eat. You have to make choices all day. With the other things, you just give up. That's it. You never. Not that it's easy, but you know what I'm saying. If you're a Coke addict, you don't ever have to do Coke again. But with food, it's really just every single day it's a battle. And I love that letter. It was very honest, and it helps us so much to hear what this does for you, and that it helps, and that you're getting something out of the podcast, because it just makes me so happy when I hear that.
Like when I hear a confirmation that people aren't just hearing us do funny like voices and stuff, I'm so glad that the other stuff is getting through, is getting out there. And I'm not saying that we have the solution, but it feels so good to feel human and connect.
Absolutely, and we're just reiterating to you what we've worked on and what we've heard, and things I've read and
how we feel. Right.
Yep.
Like it's totally comforting watching a show and eating.
Oh, God, I'm just trying to decide where I should order a pizza from.
That's what I mean. That's what I did. Yeah, but you're kidding. That's what I did last night. I ordered a meatball Parmesan Hero.
Domino's?
No, a meatball Parmesan Hero from Anna Maria.
Oh, I love meatball parm.
It's so good.
I know, but it's evil. See, if I eat meatball parm, I'm going to want to eat, like, a ton of other stuff, like bread and cheese. It's so hard.
I know. That's the addiction. That's the thing. Like, now that it's hard to get back on the fucking wagon, but it feels almost as good when the new habit is formed. It feels just as good as it does to, like, watch a show and binge eat. Like, when a new habit is formed, and I mean this in a healthy way. I don't mean denying yourself. I mean taking care of yourself. I mean eating healthy grains and vegetables and proteins and working out and drinking water. It feels good when you're in it. It doesn't feel good the first week or two, but slowly but surely you'll see your face start to change and your psyche and your mental state. It really does feel good. I am saying this to myself as much as all of you guys.
Yep.
Jessica, you want to tell our listeners where to write us and where to reach us? Go ahead and do it.
Hey Fat Pig at Gmail, Hey Fat Pig on Instagram, on Twitter. Please keep in touch. Please, go to iTunes and support Showbiz Studios. Alex is the best. He's amazing, and we're loving the feedback and that you guys are writing in and getting in touch and spreading the word. We really appreciate it.
Really, really, really. We love you guys. And we love each other.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Love
Have a
you.
good
I'm
week.
Go binge.